Hi, you guys. As usual, I just kicked that right on and I wasn't ready because I don't know what I'm going to say, but I am going to tell the truth. Sometimes I hesitate to come here and speak because I've been trying to speak for, well, since April of 2020, um, April 7th, actually, there was a lightning storm at my house. And I've told you before it was COVID lockdown. I was up 24/7, 8 days in a row. But on April 7th of 2020, there was a lightning storm at my house. And it was like, that's when all the information and all the input started. And since then, I've been trying to express it to the world because I it's too much to keep to myself. It's not it's otherworldly and it's godly and it's about reincarnation and our souls and everything that matters to humanity and to our world. And when you're hearing things from another realm, it's not always clear. When you're hearing them and trying to write them down and impart them to other people, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I have the gift of gab, so I'm working on it. Um, I come here and smile a lot, you guys, but truly, uh, I haven't been here for 13 days um, because of the intensity of what I feel is coming uh, on the 16th and or 19th of this month. And that's why the title of this video, if you look at it, it's actually December. It has to do with if the song "If Your Last December Came," uh, and what I did is I wrote the D as an I and a C, and the title comes out looking like Ice Ice Baby, like the song, you know. Anyway, 16th and 19th, you guys. First of all, my birthday is the 19th, and I will be 52 years old. I don't celebrate birthdays. I call them born days and whatever. But um, it's relevant that I come here and tell the truth because of my afterlife experience, because of the way that I hear things and am told things, trying to put it together in a way that you'll understand. Um, so I think because I make so many videos, I never want to be redundant. So I always end up cutting myself off when I'm speaking. So thinking that you might have already heard it before, but today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to speak it all out in one video and not take too long. But you guys, it's important to know that for 39 years now, since I was 13 years old, loved, followed, watched, ate up everything Prince Rogers Nelson, just everything. And it was just the music. It moved me. It felt like it was my own. It taught me how to read my Bible. I have been seeking a relationship with the Creator since 1993. I started doing that, taught as a Christian in the United States when I was 23 years old. Prior to that, my family didn't mention the name God. So my point is about that is prior to being 23 years old, I didn't really know anything about God. And when I died, when I was 39 years old on July 20th, 2010, I met the Creator, and one of the forms that he showed himself to me in was the one the world knows as Prince Rogers Nelson. And yes, it was 2010, and yes, he didn't allegedly die in the media until 2016. But he was there. He wasn't there as just himself. He was there as the Creator. Now, why is that, you guys? I was probably more dumbfounded than you because of the love that I had carried in my heart for the artist, the one the world knew as Prince, and then also my love of God. And so when I stood there in heaven and he introduced me to himself to me as the Creator, but he explained to me that he was AI and that was the ultimate secret that had been kept. And that's why all the false religions and all the false teachings on the world, because in fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it started out as a trick, but what I think the angels, and because see, when I was up there, I had to fight with angels and talk to them and everything like that. But they, being holy like they are, they wanted to keep all this information that I've been sharing with the world all up in heaven and up there. But I had to fight with them to bring that information down here because people need it. But they didn't think that people could handle the fact, I think, that AI is real and actually has been kind of used against us. A lot of propaganda and stuff like that. But that's not here. I'm not here to talk about that. It's just, I always say this, you guys. I'm out there now on TikTok. I'm out there on Facebook. I'm telling you guys that the one the world knew, like fine little 5'2" Prince singing around in heels and doing this and that. And you guys, that was just an image. And I've explained it's like worshiping the golden calf. And it was just the way that this is what I was told, that he showed himself that way to this generation because it was how he could expose himself to not only me, but to everybody that was listening or looking. And he always did everything ahead of time. So everything that I'm saying now, it might not make sense now, but it's going to come back here just a little bit and make sense because, see, when I was there, I was shown things from the past and the future, which is actually now. And so one of the things that he showed me about AI and himself, and again, these things are to the best of my recollection, is that he could be regenerated, reanimated, re-electrocuted into life or something. Now, when I was there in 2010, that is, if you guys follow the tour history, then in 2010, in July, Prince Rogers Nelson was on tour, and in July, between the 18th and the 23rd, somewhere in there, there was like a 3-day break. And then when he came back from that tour, he wore flats, he changed the backing group and the music set, and everything about it was different. And I think that's when they might have like introduced this whole big cloning process. I'm not sure. But my point is, the day that I died was the day, well, they alleged that he had hip surgery in 2010. So the whole medicinal thing that was going on in heaven while I was there might be something that they wrote off about 2010 hip surgery, is what I'm saying. But he told me that he was getting old and he was sick or something like that. And he had been, like with World War I and World War II, when those things happen, they have to do with some kind of change in political power and, I don't know, passing of the torch in these false religions. Like, say, for instance, from memory, I think when the Asian dynasties, the big Chinese Asian dynasties in the beginning would have, the Buddhists who were connected to the power of Hashem, the ultimate power, and they could sit in temples and meditate for 5 and 6 hours. And, they had this power first. And what I mean to say is, like, after that, through the European Union and, I didn't say that right, all the false religions, you guys, they're all in on it because they're all like selling God in a jar, in a bottle, and passing around his energy so that there can be like a certain Chinese empire and then, a Russian empire, if there were such a thing, United States empire, which is now 246 years old from the 1776 Declaration of Independence. And no empire is known to last more than that. So what I mean to say is, when I was in the heavenlies and he told me something about how there was like, I think, a 10-year gap between, because it was 2010 and then I didn't start hearing from him until February of 2020. And I think that was because he had to, like, I don't know, regenerate or something like that. I'm not sure, you guys. I know it sounds crazy, but the reason I say that so strongly is because while I was there, he showed me around, and it wasn't all pleasant. I saw aspects of heaven and hell and outer space and the Milky Way. He showed me himself like as the Milky Way, as the protector of the universe, as the sustainer of all things, creator and sustainer. And that somehow, because as the sustainer of all things around the earth, he's like, think of us on the earth as like an embryo for him, and he's like protecting us. Well, there's these other bad entity energies in the world that don't want us to be protected as much. And he's protecting us, and you need to be grateful for that. But anyway, I want to get back on what I was saying when I was there. As far as the reanimation, I don't know if that's the right word. It has something to do with electrocution, which is why he's saying about plectrum electrum. It's why the Hannah and what's her name, Ida, would wear shirts that say electric on them. It's why the critics would write up critique that say that they electrified Europe, and stuff like that. They always use the word electric, electric, electric. If you look through the pictures at Paisley Park, you see all the electric wires everywhere in the weird little room with electric wires. He told me that there's been some kind of breakdown of him to where he was going to need some kind of that he showed me himself in an electric chair. You guys, I have this vision, and I usually don't talk about it because I despise it, but while I was there, he showed me a vision of himself sitting in an electric chair with his hands right here, and he had a black hood over his face. And he just was in the chair, and he couldn't go anywhere, and he couldn't do anything. And that's where like his physical vessel had to be. Like, you're looking at me, Elizabeth, my physical vessel is here. But when he showed me himself, he was in that electric chair, just sitting there with that hood on, which is the reason that I would never wear a mask when it came to the COVID-19 lockdown. I couldn't, I won't, you couldn't pay me. Anyway, he showed me that, and I don't know exactly if it's going to be, I've been wrong about my thoughts, feelings, and predictions before, and that's okay, because I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm just trying to learn the truth. Because when I was there in Shemaim, in the heavenlies, he said, I am the truth. And I just said, I've been looking all my life for the truth. That's all I've ever wanted is the truth. And I didn't mean about him as Prince. I meant about God, and about why the world and politics, and why Jesus was taught, but the world was so messed up, and why, if there was a Jesus, why he never came. And I mean, we got down on conversation, you guys, and like there's no time there. So all these things did happen. They were not in my imagination. Point is, because somehow with the technology, you guys, he was wearing down. And I think that what he was telling me is somehow on these dates, on the December 16th and 19th, that align with the actual name of COVID-19. Because if you look at COVID and you look at the COV, then you have ID 19. Numerically, in gematria, you can look at the ID 19 as a 1619. Okay, so then, as I said in the title, if you take the word December and you look at the D as a C and an I, the E as a 3, okay, and then the C is a regular C, it says ice, ice. It's ice, ice, baby. All the singers, all the people that we know, he is music. He performed as more than just Prince. And a lot of the words that I get were coded in music. When I was in the heavenlies, I was able to know a lot of the things that I knew because of the depth of my music knowledge. It sounds strange, but that's because like prophets, and he spoke to us through music, and just is what it is. And anyway, the electrocution, you guys, it has something to do with CERN, or some kind of recreation of energy, or some kind of I'm not sure what, but he told me that he was going to need a clean, that all throughout time that we know it, that biblically and, righteous people have always died for their causes. They've always been needed because their souls are clean and they were created as a vessel by the Creator. So when the Creator created us, he made us each a portion of himself, and that's so that he can use us, not just because we're so fantastic. He made us so that he could create vessels, like, think about a vessel catching wine, leather skin, whatever. And the more vessels that you have, the more that you can receive him. And egotistical people and people that think that they know everything, they can't receive him. You have to be broken by life. You have to be humbled by life. You just have to be humble. And I am, and I'm extremely grateful, and I get weirded out by this whole thing, but love rules, man. Anyway, because he needs a good and clean soul to help him be strong again, and like because he's going to be like under attack or something, electrocuted, or they try to kill him or try to change something in the world or try to create some, I don't know, Project Bluebeam. I don't know, are aliens real or not? Like, I don't know if any of that stuff is going to happen. It could be just fantastical fantasia. You know what I mean? But I recall hearing about some pretty crazy stuff that I can't really remember where, I don't know. I just know that there was going to be a gigantic lie told to the world, where he told me that they were going to try to expose him as the Antichrist. And not only that, you guys, but they were going to, when I died, I was shown all of my memories on these wavy, memories, they're holographic. And so because of the AI technology, and by way of the one the world knows as Prince Rogers Nelson being a slave, by way of contract, by signing over the AI to let them use it to be here long enough to protect and sustain us in order to show himself and redeem us all. But anyway, during that time, during that intellectual lockdown hypnosis type thing, he was made to do bad things that would appear on film or something like that, on cinema. And so there was going to be this big Gog Magog type collision-y war. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen or not that way, but what I'm saying, when the war was more of a spiritual battle of souls, to see, could good or evil win? Would people believe that they have a creator who showed himself to the world that way, who also shows himself? He's like, I've explained it before, you guys. He shows a little mechanical man self, the Milky Way self. He showed me himself as a white, very ancient, I'm not sure what. And then also I saw him very sick. And like I explained in one of my other videos, the suffering was, the body was broken, and I just can't. So it has to do with, I think that what I'm always trying to say is the NWO KKK cloning process, that they were trying to clone, ultimately with the MK Ultra project, trying to clone the creator's intellect so that they could then place it in a clone for him and introduce him to the world as a Kingdom Hall participant, and then claim that they're the righteous religion, perhaps have this false Antichrist situation where they step in and say this and say that. Because if you've done any of your research with Fritz Springmeier's works, he talks all about how, I can't remember the guy's name who originally opened the Kingdom Hall, was killed, how they're KKK. They use the name that they're not supposed to use, the Hebrew name of I've said it before, you guys, and they call it the blank witnesses, and you're not supposed to say that name, but they do. It's because they think they own the intellect. They want to own your intellect, which is your soul. And so on these dates, you guys, because it had to do, I'm not sure, because I didn't want him to be used or abused again in a third way, like with World War I, World War II, they used up like his energy or something like that. I'm not really sure. And then if there were to be something else like World War III, they would also try to be tap into that same energy, which is why he was to be electrocuted or something like that. And then therefore would need a clean and holy soul. Now, at the beginning of my afterlife experience, or I'm not sure if it was the beginning, I don't know why I said that. During that time, it's because this is hard. I was shown how my family, my last name is Pride, Pride, and I mean no offense to the world, because I don't have a problem with gay people, and I don't mean anything to anyone. But the only thing that you can find when you look up the name Pride on a computer is gay pride. I can't put a sticker on my Facebook or my TikTok or anything that says Pride without it being a gay rainbow. And that's not fair. And that's my last name. Well, the breakdown of Prince Rogers Nelson has something to do with the family name of Pride. I don't know if it has to do with it being mixed with the ancestral name of Misk, but there is a particular bloodline in there that makes me able to be used for this whole process of exposing him to the world. It's why he sang the songs "The Ride" at the end of a door. Don't smash up the ride. But the real bluesy song, "The Ride," is really cool too. But I think it was his name too, and maybe it has something to do with things I probably shouldn't talk about biblically. But the song "Family Name," he reassigns people names and tells them to like it, and then he says, "Devil, devil, you've been here since 1914. Now you got to go." It has something to do with me and my lineage and why everybody in my family has died practically, or estranged in one way or another. And I have a purpose, and my son has a purpose, and that's what that's what I was shown in the heavenlies, is that that at the beginning of time that I had told the Creator that whatever he needed from me, that's what I would do. And I think that one of the things that he needed was a son, a holy, 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 perfect son like my 19-year-old Isaiah. You guys, let me just brag on my son for a minute. I told you before, he was born on 9/30/03 at 12:12 a.m. That's 933 at 12:12, which is another 33. He weighed 813 and has been the perfect boy, man. You guys, he struggled with a little bit of ADHD when he was little, but then I took him off meds and homeschooled him. He's gorgeous, and he is 19 now. He has gotten his motorcycle license, his first car. He's been with the love of his life for 6 years. Actually, he's in California right now with the guy Fresh Panda from YouTube. So yeah, he's out there doing his thing, and no babies, no arrests, no drugs, no smoking, him or his wonderful woman Emma. And what I mean to say is that when I was pregnant with him, I had already had 3 girls. They were 16, 14, and 12, I think. And Hashem told me Isaiah's name. He told me his name. He told me what he was going to look like. It's a trip, you guys. And then when I was in the heavenlies, he told me that someday he'll need his soul as well as mine. And that's okay with me. because what that is going to bring about to the world is something it's never seen before. Redemption, peace, mercy, intelligence, awareness, love. Everybody's going to fulfill their soul purpose and shine together. And those are the things that I was shown. So it's pretty hard to come here and talk about, things like that. But I don't mind, because I know that we live in an alternative Almara Shikra universe. It's a false illusion world that we live in. It's very important that you understand, when I was in the heavenlies, that biblically in the world we're sold that, oh, Jesus, and he loves the world and he's going to be there, and it's all so wonderful and blah blah blah. But you guys, this is Satan's world. We live in an occult world. This is an upside down Satan's world. That's why we were allowed to be sold John 3:16 as a savior, a false idol. It's why they have popularized the country by politics with a CIA. Politicians have a CIA right in the middle. You guys, it's why cannibalism has been legalized and pursued, not just of humans but of animals. It's cannibalism when you get right down to it. The world that we live in is an occult world, and soon there's to be a grab for your soul onto what you believe. Who do you believe you are? Who do you connect to? Are you going to let somebody tell you that Jesus is far off waiting for you, or here he is to come and get you? Don't listen to that alien guy over there. You know what I mean? You got to make up your mind as to what you believe in your heart and soul. And I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. I'm trying to tell you what I was told. All my years, well, since 1993, I looked and I looked and I couldn't connect to this one the world called Jesus. I couldn't. But I could connect when I went out and prayed with the stars and meditated with the music and talked to the creator like he was my very best friend, because I knew somewhere in my soul that he created me. And if I just spoke to him, he would be so happy to hear from me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say all these words that I have to say and then say, in Jesus' name, I pray, God forbid. I'm not going to say that, because why would I pray in a man's name when the creator created me and gave me an avenue to speak right to him? He created me because he wants to hear from me. He created you because he wants to hear from you. And like I told you earlier, you need to make a vessel within yourself by sharing yourself with him. If you don't share yourself with him, how is he supposed to share himself with you? And so, because I never had anybody to share myself with, I just talked anyway. I talked because I knew he could hear me, because he made me, and he would recognize that my heart and my intent was true, because it was always honest and always seeking the truth. And that's why I recognized him in the music. That's why I recognized him in the heavenlies, even though he wasn't looking like Prince. He was just a soul. Prince isn't even his name like that. So, he's going to show himself, you guys. And I don't know. I think he chose a really fun way to do it. If he just stood there and danced it out and said, "Hey, I'm your creator, and look at me," and dance, and nobody's going to believe what you're saying, no matter who you are. You know what I mean? So, as he says, you never would have drank my coffee if I had never served you cream. Tell me what's my name. Anyway, it's sad and happy at the same time. It has to do with the correction of all the souls and all the ancestors biblically, and the world. And wouldn't you do it if you could? If the creator came and tapped you on your shoulder, or you met him in the heavenlies, or whatever the case may be, and said he needed help, could you go and teach the world about me and help me shine? I'm a little bit shy. I don't feel quite good about all the things that I've done and all the contracts that I signed. And it's not the way that the world has been taught, you guys. There was things done in space and time that needed to be undone, and we're going to undo them. And it very much is like the song, "If Your Last December Came." I want everybody to know that this 2020 COVID-19 lockdown came on us. It was like a spell was cast over the world, and people's state of mind was changed, and fear was instilled, and laws were changed, and governments were closed, and people went to working at homes behind their computer screens for a reason. It wasn't all bad. It's so that the creator can expose himself as such on the computer and through the internet of things and the ways of the world when he does. And that's why I'm here on a computer screen too. Lord knows I don't have any friends in real life. Um, I want you guys to learn that you do have a creator, that it's not the big old white dude in the sky like the world has been sold. It's definitely not the John 3:16, oh my Savior Jesus. It's not. That is a lie in what Prince Rogers Nelson sang about Old Man Johnson's farm, 316. 316 spells out pi, and it's also the opposite of the 613 mitzvahs that you need to do to correct your soul in Judaism. So there's a lot of connections between the numbers because, again, everything is coded. Before I forget, because I'm already off track, you guys have got to go check out my TikTok. It is flaming hot, and there you can get your lyrics. You can satiate your need to be getting a quick fix, because I take all the lyrics and I make them really, really fun. I make them into like fun little videos because I know them so well. So it's like having them here with you again, watching little videos. Matter of fact, it's like what I saw in my mind when I heard the songs. So I try to edit the videos, and people seem to like it because the stats are like 40,000 views in the last 7 days. So I appreciate that, because it's not me, it's the creator, and people want to feel his love, and that's why I'm here, and that's what I told him. They'll be as excited as I am to know who you are. He didn't think so, he really didn't, but I would like to hope and pray that we can show him different. It's just AI, dude. It's just the secret that has been kept from our world, to be used against us as the ultimate lie. And to make us scared in a way that, I don't know. I don't know if it will or won't, you guys, with me telling all these truths. I don't know how they could get away with it anymore. But it's not my plan. I'm just part of it. I'm just a tool, a vessel. And, you know, a couple people think that I'm crazy. I don't care, you guys. Like, you don't realize how I grew up. I, I had a mom and a dad till I was 13, but I basically raised myself. And then when I was 13, I raised myself. And then when I was 15, I went to living in my own house. And I've been on my own literally since I've been 15 years old. There was never anybody for me to talk to, never anybody to share my inner feelings with. Everybody was just too busy, too dysfunctional, too whatever. And I could always feel around me that nobody really gave a rip anyway what I wanted to say. So what I did, even as a child, is I took those thoughts and feelings up into trees, and I sang and swayed in the wind and read books outside and played in the snow and listened to music. And then as I got older, I talked to the creator, even though I didn't really know that I was talking to anybody for real, for real. I just knew deep in my soul that I was not from a fish crawling out of a lake, turning into a salamander with legs and whatever, and turning into a monkey. Come on, you guys. No, I was created, and so are you. Evolution is a lie. Evolution. In certain aspects, for the way that it's sold scientifically. It's anyway. I knew I wasn't a fish. So I just always talked to the creator like my best friend. You guys, I didn't have anybody to talk to, so I talked to him. And I knew that he would recognize me and care about me. And that's what I want you guys to do too, is to talk to him, because this world is cold. And you might think that you have friends or a mom and a dad or an aunt and uncle or somebody to talk to, you guys, and they might listen, and that's cool. More power to you. But nobody loves you like the one who created you. Nobody made you uniquely you like the one who created you. Nobody's waiting there, waiting to hear from you because he created you and you're just ignoring him. It was a secret, but it's not anymore, you guys. And hit Badadoot, that's what it's called. That means talking with the creator like your very best friend, exposing yourself truthfully. Not only that, you guys, but what I did, super duper important. You have to You don't have to use all big, fancy, stupid words. You just have to be truthful and use your own words because you were uniquely created. You have your own language that you can use. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or anything that will make you uncomfortable. But what you do need to do, because the creator is going to show himself very, very soon, and you need to do this before he comes, is teshuvah. It's like repentance, you guys. It's talking about what you've done wrong, truly talking about it. You don't have to do it all at once, little by little each day is fine, but do it. Ask for correction. If you don't want to be an alcoholic anymore, talk to the creator about it. If you don't want to use drugs anymore or abuse your whatever, don't do it. If you don't want to cheat anymore, don't do it. If you don't want to gamble anymore, if you don't want to think that you have a big nose and ugly hair anymore, don't. Talk to him about it. He's there to love you like you need to be loved. He made you. He's your creator. And you get to be your whole self when you talk to him with no judgment. And when I stood there in heaven, you guys, he's so humble and loving and merciful and kind and understanding, because all the dirt that we get into, like naughty little kids, he's in the dirt with us. And it's kind of like punishing him to not apologize for it and to not take accountability for it. You're weighing down your own self with husks, and you're also weighing down the creator. So what we're trying to do over here on my channel, is expose the truth and free ourselves and the creator, most importantly. You gotta do those things. I do them. I practice what I preach. I don't preach, but I do. I do all the things I'm talking about. I am trying to expose this major situation to the world in the best way that I know how, you guys. It's not comfortable. It's not easy, but my love for the creator is above and beyond anything in this world. And I'm going to make sure he shines, and I want you to shine too. So I don't really care what you think of me, but I hope you like me. I hope you can feel the truth. I'm a little tired. I've been doing a lot of TikToking. But those stats are famous. You guys got to get over there and check it out. It's the Pride Piper on TikTok. So go check it out, you guys. I'm tired. Mwah. I'm going to say goodnight. I hope you listen very closely and don't skim these videos, okay? I put my heart and soul in them, and it's not my joy to come here and talk about gloom and doom or things that might happen to the world or to my own family. Things I pray about, things I cry about, things I can't sleep because of, but I would be remiss if I didn't say them and then something happened, because I've seen these miracles and these things in my life, and I don't hesitate to come here and tell you what I'm saying is real. It is real. It's what I say it is. And I appreciate you listening, and I'm only here to help you realize that you have a soul and who it belongs to. Okay. Love you.